There we go. I didn't unmute us. The music was on. We're on. Hi, Janice.
Hi, Kate.
How are you?
I am terrific.
It looks like everybody else is terrific as well. So
Hi,
we,
Debbie.
yeah, Debbie's here. Let's see. Margaret is here. The colors are good, aren't they?
Yes.
So
Christine is
great.
here.
Yes.
Uh, Alice is here. Jean is here. Dawn is here. Donna is here. Um,
Yes.
Flower is here. Viola, with my favorite name, is here.
That's right.
Uh,
Everyone is here. It's
yeah.
great to have everybody here.
Susan is here. Karen. Karen K. My printer is out of ink. Do you know what I'm talking about? I will get you the handout as soon as the magenta ink comes back.
All right. Well, Janice, you can always let me know. We can print it here.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, just email Miranda the deets and we'll
Okay.
get that out.
Okay.
Whatever that secret thing is that you two have.
It's not that secret. It was the trade route
Ah,
handout, and Karen really wants it,
all right. Well,
and
we
she
can
can't print it,
because
and she wants to
you
put it
know
in a
what?
binder.
You know
So,
what? I have one right here. It's
okay,
going to
so it
Karen
goes
K.
to Karen
I,
K,
I'm
and
going
I
to hand it
think
to you.
she's in Canada.
All right. Well, we will take care of it.
Okay. Hi,
All right.
Lacey. Hi,
All right.
Cindy.
It's
Hi,
great to see
Nancy.
everyone.
Hi,
Well,
Gwen.
yeah, my mom is here. My mom came through her oral surgery with flying colors, so she's all good. We're
That's
all good. I was exercising this morning. It's why I'm still a little flushed. It's not the blush, it's me. Um, but yes, I am wearing some of the things I made at the retreat. And thank you, folks, for following along on my Insta feed. It was great to be away, but it's great to be back and playing around. What? I already told you. Miranda's like, did you miss me? I already told you I missed you. Plus, Miranda got me popcorn chicken yesterday. That's how much she missed me. So that was good. Um, so, JP, we are going to do a really fantastic project today called Five Stitch.
mm-hmm.
If you folks opened your newsletters yesterday, you saw a little bit about the history of the Five Stitch. I've got some pieces in front of me to share. Janice is going to share a bunch of technique today. But it's a really good one. Janice, do you want to talk a little bit about kind of the beginning of the project? Do you
Sure.
want to share anything
And
there?
maybe you can show some of the
Yeah,
samples.
let me add these here.
So, Five Stitch uh, is an incredible project. And Kate, maybe while I'm chatting, can you link it, the Five Stitch
Mm-hmm.
project?
Yep,
So
I got it.
originally, when I went from having Kate had left me
I did.
and started Bidissimo,
I went out on my own.
went out on her own, and when I first closed the store, the last store, the Palo Alto store, and went online, Nicole Anderson, who worked for me, came with me, and she helped me do like the first video, the one, the kimono cord bracelet. And then she had, as we grew a little bit, we first started out at my dad's house in his tool shed, and then we moved to my apartment in Mountain View, and then we eventually moved to an office in Redwood City. But when Nicole, uh, she did everything. She learned everything. She learned how to do a web page. She created the website. She did beautiful jewelry.
You
She
sure
was
did.
she loved animals. She was crazy about birds. If you ever go through some of our product copy, and it says, use glue in a well ventilated room. Birds don't like glue. That is Nicole. anyway, at a very young age, tragically, she passed away. And
Yeah,
um,
in early 2016, I think was the
yeah,
date.
but one of her my like behemoth, the goat project of all time, is the 5 stitch. And she picked stitches that she really liked. She liked herringbone. She liked it with beads. She used amethyst cubes. She liked, uh, laddering. She liked macrame. She liked spiral. And um, when, people, we've had so many people writing in and saying, wish she would do another 5 stitch. Um, and so uh, I decided, okay, I'm going to take on the 5 stitch, and you're showing samples that were made. We did. We honored.
Yeah, we did a couple of tribute
I
projects.
have. I have. Here's the handout that
Oh, I
we.
just linked it. I
Oh, you
just
did.
five
Okay.
stitches. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So I took on making one that has my favorite stitches on it. It wasn't necessarily the ones that Nicole did, but and I'll explain why. There was one stitch that I really left out, but um, all of these are unique in their own way. And
Mhm.
um,
I did this one here
yeah.
a while back.
Can you hold it up a little closer, Kate?
Sure,
I
let me zoom it. Let me zoom it in. This
Okay.
is the herringbone, and Janice, we're going to talk about the herringbone with and without beads. This herringbone that I did, let me get a little tighter in here. Bear with me here just a second. I used the Baroque pearls
Mm-hmm.
and I nestled the Baroque pearls in the actual herringbone. Can you
Mm-hmm.
see that?
Mm-hmm.
Versus you can see some of the herringbone, you string the beads along, and you can see these have moved a little
Mm-hmm.
bit over the years. Still a cool piece. Here is another piece with those kind of nestled in here.
Yep.
So, yeah. So it's a lot of fun.
It is. It is. I I looked at the project. I looked at what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it. The first thing that I looked at, and maybe you can show mine next to one of those. The first thing that I noticed is it was too thick for me. It was too heavy. There was there's just like if you take spiral to spiral, you'll notice that uh, I scaled down the spiral compared to the ones that were done earlier. The earlier ones had multiple strands of different colors, and
There it is right
yeah,
there.
I just found it too heavy for me. I That's just the difference of opinions. I just wanted something thinner, um, and I also found, and this is why I wanted to make it my favorite, is that I had a different sense of color. I didn't like so much color, um, like back and forth, back and forth. I wanted, I just, I needed more, I needed to let the beads do the talking and
Mm-hmm.
let the thread tell a part of the story that that I just wanted to tell. So I scaled it back to just, single colors, except in the herringbone, because with the herringbone weave, you really do need more than one color to be able to show that stitch. You need you
Mm-hmm.
you well, I think you do. You
Mm-hmm.
can with just one color of CKC, Chinese knotting cord. But I wanted to be able to explain if you're going to do more than one color, how to keep the color you're using, one color on top and one on the bottom. So I had a lot of fun with this project. And as I was doing it, I found that the one thing that came to my mind is that I think most of the questions that we get about projects is not necessarily the stitch, because I think we show the stitches a lot. I think a lot of people have problems or challenges with transitioning. How do I hide that thread? How do I start with a new one and end with another one? What do you mean, put it underneath that bead or start this? So I am focusing today, I'm going to show the stitches, but I'm also going to show how you transition from one section to another.
Right. And you can see, Janice, here I've got on the screen.
Yeah.
This is the project map, folks, that's on the actual project itself. This project is called Favored 5. So if you scroll down, you'll be able to see this whole layout of Janice's and where the different stitches come in. There's a couple of quick questions here, JP, that I wanted to say here. Let me see. So I think there was a question about the beaded herringbone, and maybe we'll do a deep dive into the herringbone stitch because it's kind of fun. The herringbone, when you do it, it does have a tendency, you can see on these older ones, to kind of lay on top or kind of, move around a little bit. I think that the most successful beaded herringbones this is the one that has the pearls where it's nestled in between where the herringbone kind of stops, the bead goes on, and then the herringbone continues. That one is also that way on this one here, right here. And you can see, I'm not sure who made this one, but you can see there's some herringbone, but a bead comes down and then there's more herringbone. So try it out where you kind of nestle those beads in between. I think that'll be helpful. Janice is going to show the regular herringbone today.
Yeah, I mean, we could do, the reason I left it out is because I struggle with it. And I think that the beads that I think we need a specific bead that will work. And I think it's going to be a bead that you can, maybe has a hole in the middle and is more like a bar, so that you can herringbone around it, but the sides of it will stay on top of the leather evenly. But until I feel like I've got the right bead to do this, and that it, 5 years from now, it's not like go off to the side, or that it's going to get hidden and the herringbone is going to just cover the beads. I just left it out because I can't say confidently that I'm any good at that. In essence, you'll see as we herringbone that the beads are basically on their own thread, like KO, going down the middle of the leather. And as you herringbone, you go around the bead, you slip the bead up, herringbone under it. And it
kind of locks it in. It just depends. Yeah. I mean, you get varying results for sure.
Yeah.
But here's some of these here. And you can certainly try it out with some different types of beads and stuff. And, play around with that herringbone. I think the herringbone is a really fun way to do it. Lorena has a quick question about, Lorena, you can post, we'd love to see that 9 wrap that you did. Our let me do this real quick because I didn't do it right at the beginning. You can find, let me put this here, go right to our Facebook group. It's the bead table. That's where you want to post. We'd love to see it there. Also, if you put it on Instagram, you can go ahead and tag us at beadshop.com. And of course, my friends, don't forget to jump in and hit that like, subscribe, and notification button over on YouTube. So yes. Oh, and our Gita's here. Hi.
Yeah. Hi,
It's
Gita.
nice to see you. And Kim says when she first made this project back in the Nicole years, she broke it up and made singles of each style first, and then eventually made that 5-stitch, which is a great way to do it as well, I think.
That is a great way.
So let's go. Janice, I have a couple of things I wanted to share with everyone. Folks, keep an eye out on your inboxes today. Your trade route kits are going out today, as well as, and I didn't want to forget this, Janice and I did a collab. You'll read all about it in tomorrow's newsletter for the monthly mix. That's all I'm saying. Okay, JP, let's get to it, shall we?
Okay. So I guess we should start. If you're looking at, maybe you want to just pop up the map again one more time, so as we go through.
Hang on 1 second.
The first one is spiral.
It's right there.
Right. And let's start. I'll just say I think you need about 3 yards of leather for a 5 or 6 wrap bracelet. The best way to figure that out, though, is to measure your wrist and then double your leather over and wrap as many times as you want.
Mm-hmm.
And then that'll give you an idea of how much leather. Always cut more than you actually need, because you just never know if you're going to want to go a little longer, or you didn't go long enough, and there you have a little bit more. So I would do 3 yards for the average to a larger size wrist, maybe a bit smaller. So we're going to start with the spiral knot. This isn't one that we do a lot. I'm not really sure why, but
yeah, I'm not sure either, because it looks so nice.
Yeah, and it's fun to do, and it's not going to take very long to show you how it works. So
I'll take this down. Okay. There you go. You're on.
Let me fix this so that it's. Kate always helps me set up every time. I forget how to do my camera. So the first one, this is, maybe you want to get a screenshot of this.
Yeah, this is a good screenshot time.
These were the measurements on my bracelet, and they're always like, within 1/4 or 1/2 inch. But the first, we're going to do spiral twice in this bracelet. But I did like 6 inches of spiral knotting. And basically, spiral knotting is, it's very easy to remember for anyone who's never done this one before. Let me just, and I've set this up on a deep dish design board, and I work from the back of my button. It's just a habit I have so that I can see where I start my macrame, clear the button so that my button isn't going to, especially the glass buttons, it's not going to bang into the Ceylon and wear away the cord. So I just like to, I think you can see that, I just like to clear the button a little bit. And you start off with, like, this stitch takes more thread than you think. So I would start off with like 2 yards of Ceylon. And in this particular one, I am using, in this sample, I'm using sable, and I'm also using gold or aurum. I'm not, this is the other one I'm using. It might be aurum. But the way I have it set up, it's on the short end of the board, and I have it clipped down. I just want to make sure that you can see this. You want to make sure that your leather is, especially with spiral knot, you want to make sure that it's even and flat. It's not twisted. It's going to want to twist because of the spiral knot. So here we go. So you start halfway in the middle. You take your Ceylon, you put it underneath, and then you just start to spiral knot. And the spiral knot is just very simple to remember because it's just making a loop on one side over and over again. And this is all it is. And as you knot, the thread, the cord, what is it, Sammy?
I hear Sammy.
Yeah, the cord will want to go by itself, maybe about, depends on whatever cord you're using, but about every 10 stitches, it wants to go underneath and come around on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. It's gonna take me a few.
So Janice, you have both ends tied down, right? You've got the button end connected,
Yes.
and you've got the bottom end.
Yes.
Sometimes what I do is I don't clamp the bottom. So it kind of turns as I macrame. But because I was having trouble, my issue was that I would start macrameing backwards. But sometimes the tension on the spiral would be off. So I think
I unclipped it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what happens. This feels like I'm jumping out of the plane without a parachute.
I know. It feels kind of loose, but but that's how, and it just goes to show there's more than one way to do the spiral stitch. But yeah, I would always have trouble.
I'm not crazy about
Yeah,
this.
you're not crazy about it. Well,
No.
see,
So let me go back. Let
let's
me
go
clip
back
it back
to
down again.
Well, and it's probably better, as I say, to have it tightened down so that your stitch looks more regular. You know?
Yeah, I guess I just feel like I have, it's, for me it's the control,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So if you're watching now, you can see it's starting to go underneath. See, do you see it's coming under?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's do one more. And the nice thing about this stitch, you can kind of cheat on it, is that you can make your own spiral as tight, or you can move it as after you've done it. It's twisting.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go underneath.
Yeah, see, that's better. And you can see.
See, it's popping up, and this one's
Mm-hmm.
coming under. So I'm going to now pick up this one, and now it's the other cord that's coming around. So this is, it's if you think of it as a P, or if you do it with the Q, whichever you do, it's just one side. It's just remembering you're only using one side. And that you do start with the button even on both sides, because you're going to pick up each thread pretty evenly. So there we go. We've got our spiral.
Nice.
Are there any questions about the spiral?
No, people are saying that they like the spiral stitch. You can also twist
Yeah,
the stitch to kind of adjust it to make it even,
yeah. That's
right?
what's fun about it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, so,
And
okay,
I
so
think it really looks pretty. It's a pretty addition to a bracelet.
it is. It is. And we have that skill builder on how to do
Mhm.
this. So it's
Mhm.
really wanting to move again. And you see here where it's longer, I
Mhm.
can just, fudge it and
Mhm.
it looks fine. Okay, so we're done with spiral knot. There we go.
Yay.
Here's my little notation. So I'm going
Looks
to take
great.
this off the board now. And then we go to the next one, which is called Bollywood macrame. And this
Mhm.
one, pretty much everybody that has watched a Beadshop video has seen us do this before. So I'm going to just, is it bright enough, everybody?
Yeah,
So,
I think it's lowering the light because of the white background, but it's
oh,
fine.
okay.
The
Okay.
camera.
So this is straight macrame. So up here is basically ending the spiral. So what
Mhm.
I'm doing in each one of these sections is showing you the section before. So this was the spiral up here. And
Mhm.
then now this is the Bollywood macrame. And in this case, what I did, because I'm going to show you another way of doing the Bollywood macrame,
Mhm.
is I added 20 beads. You can, 10, whatever you want, on
Mhm.
each tail. And then what I did is I put a stopper bead. So I went through it and then came around and went through it again so that they wouldn't fall off.
And
And
Janice, you're using the regular Ceylon here, correct?
yes, I am. I'm
Mhm.
using, is that okay? So I just want to explain what I did here because some of you may notice it. At the beginning, I did the two beads across from each other,
Mhm.
and then I staggered them. So I want to show you just uh, briefly this first, and then this is staggered. And then at the end, I'm going to show you one other way of staggering it. So, so this is basically the flat square knot. Um, and I'll do the staggered first. I should have used a different color bead when I got to the staggered. So let me show you. So I'm bringing one bead up and and then I'm doing the flat square knot, which is it's a Q and then a P. So I originally put 20 beads on each tail. Um, there's this. Oh wait. Okay, I put it on the wrong side. I'm not going to take it out. Let me just uh,
No, we'll
figure.
just forge
That's
ahead.
that's just a goof, right? So
Mhm.
then I bring one up on the other side. They're not going to be across from each other. They're going to be staggered. So tension is important. There's no doubt. Um, oh, sorry. There's no doubt that um, tension affects um, how how the your macrameing looks. It's
Yeah.
not as critical as in like a brick stitch or a peyote stitch. Sorry, I'm hitting the camera. Okay, so now I'm going to do one more this way, and then I will do them across from each other. So this is the staggered. So I bring one up. And they don't have to all be the same bead. You can do this with different colors. I'm also going to show you with the second Bollywood, changing the thread color so that looks different in just the simplest little things can add to what you're doing. So now,
And Janice, there's a couple of questions if I can ask.
Sure.
So Carolyn is asking, is there a full square knot between the beads? Are there 3 stitches in between? So you can kind of do what you want, but what you're doing here specifically
is I'm doing 3 half square knots.
3 half hitches. Okay.
Yeah. So now I've got the 2 beads just across from each other. Maybe I can get in a little closer. Is that sharp?
I'd pull it out just a hair. There we go. Let's try that.
Okay, so now the two beads are across from each other. And this is the side that I want to start because I can see that that's the one that has the little, what do we call it? The little thing on the top.
I call it like a scallop or a crescent.
Yeah. So there's the Q. And then here's the P. Here's the Q. And here's the P. So in this case, we had the four and half knots or 2 full, and now I'm going to bring up 2 more. So you could make as many in between as you want. I'm going to start on this side again.
And here, since you're doing them across, you can see that you see more leather. When you stagger them, you see a little less of the leather underneath. But yeah, you can go as many in between or as few as you like.
Okay. So are there any more questions about this?
Nope, I think that's good.
Move on to the next. Okay. Here we go. We got that one done. Now, this is where we start to have the fun. This is where we're going to transition. And I want to make sure, let me get this on the board. And then I'm going to, do you want it, Kate, will you show the project map again?
Yep. Hold, please. There it is.
Okay, so now we're going to Infinity Ladder. And this is I don't know of any other project where we have done both Infinity and traditional laddering in the same project. Do you know of any?
I don't know. Nothing comes to mind immediately, but I think that if we went back into the annals of wrap bracelet history, we might find it. But it is a fun, because infinity and traditional laddering both have really great uses, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
this first one, you're doing infinity stitch, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's looks so nice. And can you see, you're going to talk about the transitions in between these in a little bit, JP, correct?
I'm going to actually talk about that first.
Okay, then should I take the project map off?
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't really
Okay.
I can't really do that until I get rid of the Ceylon.
Mm-hmm.
So in the one that we just did, which was um, the laddering, the laddering with the beads, the Bollywood,
Mm-hmm.
we then are going to transition to the infinity. And the way we do that is we're ending with some macrame. And then I put on a bead with a larger hole, a roller bead, and I took my thread and I came around it. I think you can see this on the sides. I don't know if it's sharp enough, but um, I came around and then I want to make sure this is really flat. That's one of the things that happens sometimes. You can't really get your picture the way you want it. So I'm gonna, I don't want this leaning to the side. I want it, if I can.
Please.
Um,
Please and thank you.
let's take this off, and
Here. I'll put the
I'm gonna put a new piece of twine in.
okay. I'm gonna put this.
Better. Okay. So we want to get rid of the Ceylon
Mm-hmm.
and be able to work with the KO. And to do that, we're going to need the big eye needle.
Tell me when you're ready, Janice. I have the project map up.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm putting this on. I love to use twine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take this.
Hang on. I'm actually going to
show it. Maybe
whoops. There we go. Okay. I got you.
So I'm looping through. This is the way I should have done it correctly. I'm looping through. And now if I clip it to the board, it should lay flat. The way I was doing it before, a little thing as simple as how you put it to the board can make a difference in it being flat or not flat. So I'm going to, and I'm clipping it down on this end. I don't know why it wants to twist, but this baby wants to twist today. Okay.
You're the boss. You're the boss, JP.
So I know I'm the boss. So
You're
I'm going to take
that.
out this KO a second. And let's just talk about how we're going to bring this back. We've seen Kate do this with glue, the thread burner, etc. I want to show you how to do it without, you could use glue here if you want. But I want to show you how you do this. We want to end these threads now. So we're going to use a big eye needle. And this is a needle that opens all the way from end to end. They come in different sizes. I tend to like these shorter ones. I don't need them so long. So we need a big eye needle because the Ceylon needs to fit through a needle that has a really big eye. It also needs to be stiff enough that it can go up through all of whatever you want of the stitches, come out the other side, and then you want to be able to take, let's come back we want to be able to take this and pull it all the way up. So before I'm going to pull that all the way up, I want to tighten this stitch, and I'm bringing it all the way up. Now, if you want to do glue, you would do glue before this little bit comes into the needle. So, I mean, before you pull it up. So let me show you. I'm going to do that with the other piece. And I will show you with the glue. I don't think it's really necessary if you're going up through enough stitches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's really necessary to be able to have to use the glue. So
Because it's tight enough around there.
yeah, and there are enough stitches and it's going
Mm-hmm.
far enough. It would really be a journey for it to come all the way down and out.
Mm-hmm.
So let me get my glue. Where's my glue? Here we go. And I have put my needle on, and I want to glue just the part that is going to live inside. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to glue all of it by the needle. I only have
Right.
to glue that much. And now I'm going to take this needle and I'm going to go up through the stitch. It doesn't have to go all the way up to the top. It can go part of the way, but it seems to want to go. You just want to. It could come out here or it could come out here, but you just want to get it up high enough. Um, Here we go. I don't know why I'm having. There we go.
There it goes. Yeah, because it's nice and you want it snug, so you
Yeah,
have to give it a little bit of a tug when you're pulling
yeah.
it.
And then you can take your flush cutters or your thread snips
Mm-hmm.
and you just cut this away one at
Mm-hmm.
a time. You thread them one at a time, bring them up one at a time, and then cut them one at a time. Just be careful you don't cut your original.
Right, your macrame.
Yeah, that's why the flush cutter is so good, because
Mm-hmm.
it really would have to work hard to get into that macrame. So then
Mm-hmm.
you put your big eye needle aside, you don't need it now, and then you get out your KO. And I like to use the sharps for this. And the
Mm-hmm.
sharps is a size 10 needle that Kate introduced us to. It is, I'm going to show you the difference between the little stubby shorts and the regular 10-aught,
Mm-hmm.
which is similar to the 12-aught, the English beading needle. These are the two side by side. This is the short, and that's the English 10. You can use the English 10 if that's all you want. It's just that you saw how I struggled a little bit with the big eye needle. With the English, it's more flexible than the sharps short, and I like the sharps. It's just like a workhorse. It's almost, I don't know. I have never broken a sharps.
Yeah.
So to start we've now got to add the the needle and the KO. So I usually start up here, but if it's really long, if you have a big section, you could start it here. But what you want to do is you want to bring it down and you want it to come out. Um, you want it to, it's going to be a little tough. That's why I say the sharp is the needle for you. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to loosen it and I'm just going to bring it from here in. And I have put a knot um, in the very tail of the KO.
Mm-hmm. So it doesn't pull all the way through.
Yeah. And
Yeah, you can see that knot right there.
yeah. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off. And if you really want to put glue on, if you feel like glue is what's going to help you sleep at night, then go ahead and put some glue in.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. We now have our KO. We have our Ceylon is hidden. Life is good. Agreed?
That's a really clean connection, Janice. Very clean.
Yeah, I
And you can
love
see,
this.
I'm going to put up the the map. So see here where Janice has ended the Bollywood macrame. She's got those 3 roller beads. That's what that roller bead is above. And now she's going to go into the infinity ladder. And you can see that infinity ladder is with the Tyla beads. So that's where we are between segments 2 and 3 on the
Right,
map right there.
right. Um, and so now I happen to be someone who ladders from left to right, and
Mhm.
everybody has their own way of doing this. Some people will start on the right, some will start on the left, but the notion is that with the infinity, you're able to use beads with smaller holes and ladder with them. With the traditional, which I'll show you in a bit, it sometimes is very hard. You can't use a needle. Um, Even gluing doesn't help. So I like to always start, I like to work my way up to a bead with a larger hole, I mean, a larger bead. Um, I just think it looks more finished. So you
Mhm.
could start with a size 11 here. You could even start with a size 8 if you wanted. I am actually going to start with this little quarter Tyla. I think these are just the bee's knees. Um, they're small. They give us a little, and Tyla beads, they have sort of one side that has a little bit of a hump
Mhm.
curve. You know, this bead, it doesn't really matter that much which side is on top. It just
Mhm.
doesn't. When you get to where it's going to show more, then I think it matters. The most important thing for you to remember is it's a 2-hole bead, and
Mhm.
you have to come back through the first hole and then go through the second hole. So I'm going to bring this. Why is it? Uh, Sometimes I get like a phone knot. It's not really a knot. So I've got my, I don't know, can you all see that?
Yeah, so that's the quarter that you have in there, Janice, right?
Quarter. Yes, it's the littlest. I love these. I just
Mhm.
love these quarter tilas. So I've come through it. I'm coming down, I go underneath, and then I'm coming back over. And this is how I do my tension. I hold, it's a little like pearl knotting. I hold my KO with my right hand. I press my hand on top of the bead. And then this is what beginners, including me, forget is we have to go under. Now, Kate does this differently than I do. Kate has her own way, and both ways get the job done. So
Mhm.
I came under. Now I have to get the second hole. If you're finished with your bracelet and you see that you have a 2-hole bead and the second part of the bead is popping up, you know what it means? It means you didn't go through the second hole, or you went through the second hole, but you didn't go under your thread to keep it lodged in. So now I'm going to come over.
Yeah, that looks great.
And the way, oh, thank you, Kate. And the way I will do this now is I work my way up to, I'm getting stuck around these clips. I work my way up to whatever the largest bead is. I don't
Mm-hmm.
automatically go to, like, okay, I want a big bead now. I like, that's just kind of my signature. That doesn't have to be your signature. That's just my signature, how I do it. So now I will do two, or I will do a half tila. Let's see if I've got a half tila here. Um, yes. So now I get to do my second tila. I don't know what we would do without tile beads.
I know, especially those quarter tilas look so nice. So
Yes.
while you're putting those on, Janice, Deborah has a quick question about roller beads, and I know you're putting that up.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna put the project map back up. You can see how the roller beads, when they're wrapped, and you can see it also when the bracelet is wrapped around, they are staggered slightly. So all of the roller beads don't line up. So you don't have like a big space of just roller beads sticking out on your wrist. You want to make sure that they're kind of evenly distributed, which is why something like this we try on a lot when we're making it.
Yeah, the roller beads, I don't know how my threads got all tangled. There we go. The roller beads are not that large, really. They're
Mm-hmm.
6 millimeters by 9, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they're 9 millimeters wide and 6 millimeters tall.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put that on your wrist, you'll notice, Kate, that it doesn't really stick up that much. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I keep hitting this.
That's okay. Looks
Okay,
good.
so this is now a half tila. Um, I could do this, I could just do this forever, but
Mm-hmm.
this is basically the infinity stitch. It's
Mm-hmm.
back and forth, making sure you go through each hole, keeping the tension nice and even, and that just comes with practice. Uh, I
Yeah, and pulling.
wax. Oh, sorry,
Oh
Kate.
no, I was just going to say pulling those two KO threads as if they were one thread.
Yes,
You want to pay attention to both of those.
and when you're laddering, don't have any tools around you.
No, it'll get caught.
Yeah. Now I don't wax my thread. I know a lot of people do, but see, now I have to remember to come underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's personal taste. Um,
I
okay.
do sometimes. I think when the wax is sitting like right next to where I'm working, and I don't have to look for it. Sometimes I do.
What do you think the wax does for you?
Well, especially when I'm infinity stitching,
Mm-hmm.
it'll help my two threads act more like one.
Okay.
That's the main reason for me with this, because inevitably when I'm doing the infinity stitch with two threads,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes one doesn't get pulled as tightly as the other. So I'll have a tiny little bubble of thread.
Mm.
So I really have to pay attention on the sides.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm using a half tila and a quarter tila
Mhm.
in order
Janice, pull the camera back if you would when you have a second.
Okay.
I think it's blurring just a touch.
Okay. Let me
Let's see
just
if
get
we can
this
do that
underneath.
with all that movement. It's always a game trying to keep everything in focus. Ask me how I know.
How do you know?
Because I do it all the time.
Is that better or is that blurry still?
Yeah, no, I think that's good. It gives you your hands a little more room.
Okay. So, are there any questions about?
Nope, I
Okay.
think we're answering them as we go along. I think we're
Okay.
good.
Okay. So we've done infinity laddering. So infinity laddering. I'm just gonna. The infinity laddering is this. It's this and this.
Mm-hmm.
All it is this and this and
Mm-hmm.
this and this. That's it. Infinity laddering. The other laddering, which we will do in a little bit, is we go through this way and we go through this way
Mm-hmm.
and we go through this way and we go through this way. So we're taking two cords and we're going back and forth. And they both have their places. So now we're going to go to herringbone. And
Okay.
if I've put anyone to sleep, I am so sorry.
No, you're doing a great job, JP. People are saying this is a master class in and of itself. So you're doing a great
Oh,
job.
thank you. I was thinking that five stitch really does deserve a master class, doesn't it?
Yeah, it would be fun.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going from infinity ladder to we're going from infinity ladder to herringbone.
Mm-hmm.
And as a reminder, to end it, we would do the last of our stitches with the KO, and then you can take your needle and bring the end of your KO up through the body of your laddering, and you can put a little spot of glue on it and then cut the thread off. So that's a great way of ending it. You could also end it by putting your new Ceylon over the KO. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to show you in a little bit how we do that. But we're now on to the herringbone wrap. So imagine that we have ended our KO here. We've ended it by either coming through a bit, like leaving it on the side for a few minutes, starting your Ceylon or your heavy cord wherever you want, and then coming down through here, and then uh, wrapping, macrameing around your roller bead. Then when we get here, we want to add a second color. And I'm just going to take this out. So,
Oh, I see. So you've added one of your herringbone with the macrame.
yes. So after I do
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
the infinity stitch, right, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to take a new piece of Ceylon.
Right.
So let me get this one that I just worked on. What did I do with it? Is it here? So when I'm at the end here, I'm going to have to end with the KO and add
Mm-hmm.
a piece of Ceylon.
Right.
So
And so you're just adding the single color,
single color.
finishing the the other, finishing the with the roller bead. And now for the herringbone, like you said, you've added that gold color in. So that's a great way of adding it, Janice, because it's nice and secure and you're just adding that single cord. That's very smart.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So what I did is I just did the macrame around the roller bead, And then I want to show you how we do this. So I'm going to move these beads so I don't spill them. And herringbone, everyone, uses a ton of thread.
It does. So much thread. So much thread.
Yes, a ton of thread. So I've come here and then I'm going to cut another piece. So I would say cut a minimum of 3 yards. And do as much herringbone as you can do with 3 yards. Longer than 3 yards or 3.5 yards, and it just gets a little difficult to use. So I'm going to put my new cord underneath the leather, and I've opened up the ends of the leather so that I have a little room to work with. So each one I'm clamping down individually. And then I'm going to I know which is on top. So I'm using sable Ceylon in this. The project uses Celadon, but I just thought I'd use this. So I'm all basically herringbone is it's going under, pull your cord through, pull it up, and then I'm going under with the other side. And you want to check that the same color is on top with each time you do it. So in this case, the sable's on top, the aurum or gold is on the bottom. If you're using this 2 of the same color, you just want to make sure they're not going to twist. So then this, I want to make sure that the sable's on top. It just takes a minute or two for the thread to find its place. And then once it does, it pretty much stays. Now we could probably, Kate, try putting a bead in here and doing, if I can't look at the clock, but if you think we have time,
yeah, do you want to try one?
We could try. So let me just get this going a little bit. Now, as a disclaimer, so whatever goes under, then you bring it back. The disclaimer is it's not my favorite stitch. So that's all I'm going to say about it. Okay. So how do I hold threads when I go away to answer the phone or something like that? I will take a piece of Scotch tape and I tape this either down right on the board. If it's a velvet pad, you can't, but I'll show you what I do. I bring it over to the side right here, and I tape it down so that it's not going to go anyplace. You can also use clamps. If you've got enough clamps. You can't have too many clamps in your life, right?
That is exactly correct.
Okay. So now I have my cords. They're staying where they're supposed to stay. They're not moving. I happen to have this piece of KO already. I'm going to just take this one that I had with the infinity stitch, and I'm going to use this. Let me cut this off. And how do you think we're going to start this, everybody? Anyone?
You're going to put the the KO, it's like a traditional ladder.
I'm going to bury it.
Oh.
Yep, I'm going to bury it.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay, yes.
How would you do this, Kate?
I think what I did in one of these with the, and I don't remember, in the one I used the Baroque pearls, I
Mm-hmm.
think I held a piece of KO along with what I was doing the herringbone weave.
Mm-hmm.
And then I only put the KO through the bead when I wanted to add the bead. Otherwise, the KO just rode along. Does that make sense? So I didn't infinity stitch the KO. I think I ladder stitched the KO.
Oh.
One strand coming from the left and one coming from the right. Though I could be wrong.
Okay, so the way this is how I remember, maybe I'm wrong. I could easily be wrong. This is how I remember Nicole doing it.
Mm-hmm.
She had beads
Right, strung in the center.
strung on the KO, and then she brings one up. Maybe I've just been doing it wrong the whole time. Maybe that's why it's such a difficult stitch for me. And then I'm going to just come under with this. Maybe you can walk me through your way, Kate.
I'll show you. I have the piece here. I'll show you in a second.
Okay, then I take this. Let me make sure I have the right. So you're saying you do infinity here? You
No, I didn't. I'll show you. You do what you're doing,
okay.
and then I'll show you what I did.
Okay, so I'm gonna just bring this over here. This is why I don't teach this.
Well, it's a little fiddly, but
You think?
yeah, it is. Janice, while you're doing that,
Yeah, you're
someone
gonna go
someone had asked someone had asked about they were going to try and download the project map. So what I'm doing, everybody, is I am putting the project map in a downloadable form. So it'll be under the handout, in the handout tab, or I'll put a link, maybe right by the project map, so you can download it. Okay.
Okay. I've got my thread all mixed up in my clamps.
Well, Janice, do you want me to show my piece right here?
Yeah, let's show it, and then let me be reminded what you did, and then
So let me
let's see
show
if
you.
I can attempt this.
I may or may not be
Not
working on
usually this bad, but
so what I did here, let me show you.
okay.
Oh, good. People are saying yes. Project map, make it downloadable. I'll make a little button, and you'll be able to download it. Okay.
Okay.
So here's this. Here's this.
Okay.
So what I did, let me get a pen. I need to weave through here. So here are my legs of leather.
Mm-hmm.
Like this. And I came in And I did my herringbone weave, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that and like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then what I did was, I think underneath here, I was running a leg of KO and a leg of KO here.
Oh, so you did
Then,
it
mhm.
you did
So,
it traditional.
so then when I got my bead here, I laddered the bead on, then kept my KO going.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see here how my KO goes from here, it comes around and it nestles below, and you can just see. I mean, I could have infinity stitched. So if it was coming down here, right? If my infinity needle was coming down here and then I just went there, infinity stitched it on. But what I did was I carried my thread with this. Does that make sense?
It does.
And then what I did was when I was doing the herringbone, that herringbone would come around and then it just nestled, that infinity stitch bead nestled in between the two bits of herringbone. Because my issue was when I was making this, that when you have your bead where the hole is going from north and south,
Mm-hmm.
it's sticking on top. It doesn't want to sit anywhere. So I thought if I incorporated it like a ladder and it had the support of the left and right leg of leather on either side, it would nestle in between. So see, it looks the same on the front as on the back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
I want to try it.
And I'll show you. We'll do something. I know Debbie's like, I'm a little lost. This is a little bit of advanced laddering for sure. But I'll work on a herringbone that has this bead in between. Hopefully that'll be helpful. But Janice, let's focus on your regular herringbone for now. And we'll table this one. Oh, look at you. That sound is labels printing.
All the trade route.
All the trade route kits are going out.
Route route.
I don't understand how Miranda does it all.
Well, you know, that's what happens.
Sometimes I just put on a
A little scarf of all of the shipping labels. So JP, yeah, it does make a difference because here the whole of the bead is going this way,
Mm-hmm.
and you're laddering through this way instead of the whole of the bead coming down like this, right? So that they're lined up this way. And then your herringbone goes around them this way. And what I found was that when the hole was going from north to south rather than east to west, that herringbone was pushing that bead up, so it sat on the top. Carolyn is making her paper template. I love it. She's making her paper template for this already. Love it.
Yeah, let's learn just regular for now.
let's do our regular.
I'm like losing my patience.
Yep, let's do that. I am going to, and we'll come back to this. This will give us a goal. Don't worry.
Us meaning you.
Us meaning me. I'm going to put the project map back up here so you can see. Now the herringbone weave, Janice, what was the length on this herringbone that you used? I have a screenshot of it.
It's like 7 inches.
Okay, desktop.
Herringbone 7 1/4.
7 1/4. I've got it.
Yeah, whatever like you have in the way of. had so much fun doing it that I just didn't want to stop.
Yeah, herringbone weave is fun. And I especially like, let me show you, I've got the actual piece here. Let me
I'm just going to cut out the KO
yeah,
while
you do
you're
it.
talking.
I'm going to show you this. So see here where Janice went from that Bollywood, staggering that Bollywood, to the three. She did 3 rollers in each transition. And here is where she used the 2 pieces of Ceylon that are coming from that macrame. She added the gold, and then she just continued down and did the herringbone. Now you can see the herringbone here versus the herringbone in a single color. Can you see that difference? It really, I think the 2 color, and the only thing is you just need to keep it nice and flat, right? It gives a little bit of a chunkier, nice look. I like the way this 2 color looks a lot right here.
Yeah, I do too.
It does go fast, and it does take a lot of thread. It does.
Yeah. It's just a thread eater.
It is.
Yeah.
So Janice, you let me know when you're ready for your next.
Okay. Well, I got rid of the KO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm just back.
Here's this one that's been done, and you can see the KO coming through that bead and how it's just kind of shifted over time. So
we've got to find our own new stitch that works.
Yeah. I'm
kind of convinced it'll work with a bar bead that has one hole in the center where you can bring the herringbone under.
That might work.
But
I like this Baroque pearl though. So we'll go back to the drawing board on it. Okay. I'm going to put you back up here.
Okay. So I've got these 2 colors, and like right now, this right up here, it's like maybe a little loose, but over time, it's just gonna find its footing. It'll just so I push it up, and then I do the other side. Now, okay, so are we all good on herringbone?
Yeah, there's a couple of quick questions that I'm going to do. I'm going to say, Suzette, the supply list is written for the 2 color strand. There are 2 colors of Ceylon on there. And Christine, Janice is measured, so I will add the measurements to the project map, okay, on the project page. So those will be on there. Okay, so you've got that.
Those are for me. It's not necessarily for everybody.
But I'll put your because there's some interest in seeing what yours were, JP.
Okay. So this is just herringbone back and forth. This is all it is, back and forth. And just keeping whatever the color is. If you need to write a little Post-it note and say, brown on top, whatever, just to remind yourself, that will make a difference if you're not consistent. So then this is herringbone. Okay. We're done with herringbone. We came, we saw, we conquered.
And the herringbone, if you put it down, folks, flip it. Just don't put it down and walk away because it will unherringbone.
Yeah, so I'm just putting a clip over it.
Yeah.
So I know it's where it's supposed to be. Okay, now we're going to traditional laddering.
And so you've got that little end there, Janice, how you showed how you finished off that herringbone.
Yeah. Here's the little end of the herringbone. so that I did basically, here are the two colors.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the gold longer than the sable.
Mm-hmm.
So I made sure that I had enough to continue. If you, for some reason, you don't have enough, or you want to use a totally different color, you can lay your Ceylon down, the two colors here, and you can take another third color and macrame over the two of them,
Mm-hmm.
or you can take your ends, and with the herringbone, I probably would do a square knot with the colors individually, and then with your needle, your big eye needle, bring them up into it. But the herringbone will want to, because it's a pattern, if you bring them back up, it might be better to just put like a square knot here,
Mm-hmm.
and then you take a third color and wrap over it. But what I did is I had more gold than I had brown. And so what I basically did is I took the gold and continued, and then the brown, I just put it long enough. I put some glue on it, uh, wrapped over it, and then did my roller bead and continued on. Does that make sense, Kate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because basically you're burying the tails of the
right,
herringbone in um underneath some macrame.
right,
That's essentially
right.
what you're doing, just like you
Exactly.
did before when you
Yeah,
buried those other tails.
yeah. So then now what I'm doing is I wanted to show you with um, uh, the macrame, the Bollywood macrame. I wanted to show you um, how you can also do the staggered beads, where you put beads just on one leg, not on two.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can't do it evenly this way, but you can do staggered. You bring one up, and then do your regular macrame.
That looks pretty.
Yeah, I think it is. Thank you.
Yeah, especially I like having a lot of the leather show
Mm-hmm.
through. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do too.
I think it's definitely uh, a nice design choice.
Okay, and then now I might have done one too many stitches here, but that's okay. Um, I'm going to bring one up because it's on let me show you, I have it on beads on one end,
Mm-hmm.
the one up, and then I am macrameing, bringing it back and forth, and you can count them, like better than I can, and you just do this until you could also just have them all on one side if you wanted,
Mm-hmm.
and then you bring one up. So that's that, and then now we've got. Will you show the map
Yeah.
again?
Yep.
Because I want to do the traditional ladder,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, we go. Okay, so now we're gonna, and I guess I didn't do, which is good because I thought I did this, but I guess we didn't. So I'm going
What's that?
to, I that's right, I didn't do this. I, uh, I wanted to show you how we go from this to the
Mm-hmm.
traditional. So I'm going to take the beads off.
Let me move this, and then there is another herringbone question, but I'll come back to that. JP, don't.
Well, you
I'll,
can ask it.
No, it's a little more involved. So I don't want to interrupt your flow, and then we'll go back to that question.
Okay, so I'm going to put another bead, another roller bead on.
Mm-hmm.
I have kitty hair everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna just, let's get a smaller spool so I can just lift this up a little bit. Okay, so that's gonna hold that up. Then I'm going underneath this.
I don't know if you can hear those mockingbirds, Janice, but
No, I can't.
they're singing.
I just want to look at this one more time. Um, uh,
Yeah, so now you're just going to jump in and start your laddering, right, Janice?
yes, but this is where I changed. Is this where I changed color? No, I changed color back with the Bollywood macrame.
Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you what I've got here.
Yeah, I'm just using a different color, so it's
Yeah.
a little.
So here we are. We did that Bollywood, 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 Bollywood. We put your rollers. Now we're going to this traditional laddering. So folks, with this section, right, from here all the way here, I don't know that you added thread, Janice, or not, or if you just
I'm really low on thread, so I could add some thread in a little bit.
And you could add thread, especially anywhere in here, by just laying that thread over the top and just macrameing it in to blend in.
Right.
But then see here, you go from that transition there to your traditional laddering. So I'm ready. Do you want me to put your section back? Okay.
So one of the things about traditional laddering, I'm looking at the map. Okay. One of the things about traditional laddering is that you're coming from either side, and this is where the zap glue, I added it to the list, Kate.
Oh, thank you.
I realized, you really need to make those self needles where you put some glue on the end, and you do that by putting a little bit of the zap glue in a baggie, rolling it around, letting it dry, and then taking, just like your flush cutter, and just giving it a little angle cut so that you can get through a bead from either side. Okay, so I came through from either side after my macrame, and I'm coming through, and then I'm going under, and this is where Kate and I differ. Kate goes over and under. I go this way, under and then over.
It depends. Sometimes I do it that way. I think it just depends on how
you can pick out whatever you want. So I'm going to now, I'm graduating up. So I'm going to, the nice thing about the 8/0 is that they have a nice generous hole, and they will fit, see, with your self needle, it just fits beautifully. You go over, and under and over. There are benefits to both. You can do traditional, you can do infinity. I find infinity, if you're trying to get something done quickly, infinity just goes faster.
It's faster. Yeah, I agree.
I could not use Tyla beads here. The holes are just not large enough for traditional laddering C-line.
Right.
But if I used fine weight or if I used micro, yes, it'll work. And a lot of people also will use KO single. I am always nervous about that, but Kate,
Mm-hmm.
you've used it single, haven't you?
I don't I am in agreement with you, Janice. I
Yeah.
am not a big KO single kind of a gal. I think that some people do because it crosses in the center and it's doubled that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm worried about the edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Well, if it breaks, it really
Yeah.
breaks.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to, um, I wanted to show you how I close. Um,
But that traditional laddering, that could not be easier. You just do need to make sure that your beads, you're using 6 millimeter there, that
right.
your beads will accommodate 2 strands. You go
Mm-hmm.
from the left to the right to the left,
Mm-hmm.
and just make your section, you know, like you want it.
Yeah. Some people swear by this.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will not do the infinity. They only like this. Some people only like infinity,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's good to know both.
Mm-hmm. I
Uh,
agree.
so, okay, now I'm going to end it. And then, and sometimes you have to cut this as you go. Um, are there any questions so far?
Yeah. Kathleen has a good question here. I'm going to put it up. And I encounter this too. Kathleen says, I've been laddering for years, and it seems though on one side, as the thread comes over or under, it has a different sort of angle.
Yep.
So that one side is like one angles one way a little bit, the other side angles the other way a little bit. Um, and I think that's just kind of how the thread lies, right?
Well, it does, particularly with infinity.
Infinity stitch,
If
yeah.
you look here at the traditional, it's really very pretty much stable.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're coming at the same angle. So I am now ready. I'm just going to take a second and look at the map.
Sure, I'll put the map up.
And we don't need to do more spiral knot. Um, I think we're good to just
To
show.
close. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we're good to close. So I've got these two ends here, and it's just pretty much like, well, what is Janice going to do? Well, Janice is going to do. I don't have enough thread, but I'm just going to do a square knot.
Mm-hmm. Janice, would you push that a little further? Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. And I would probably maybe put a little drop of glue there. Let me get in so that I have it. You need another hand for this.
I know. Yep. A little glue never hurt.
Yeah, so you could put a little drop of glue there, and then let me just take a new piece of this.
And so let me tell you, Janice, the question that we had, this is going to answer that question as well. Hang on one second. This is also how you would add thread to herringbone, right? That would be, instead of laddering, that would be herringbone there, right?
Yeah. Yes. So I'm at the end now, though.
Right.
And I want to just go over this, especially if you're changing colors. I don't want to see, if I can help it. I don't think I want to see any of that not happening if I can hide it. So I'm just going to kind of shove it.
In between the two pieces
That's a
of leather.
technical term. I'm going to just shove it in between the two pieces of leather. And this is also how you'd start the button loop after you've decided how long the opening has to be. And then you would start a little bit of macrame for the button loop. You'd go as long as you need. Then you'd take the big eye needle and you would put the threads up into the body of the work.
Yes, our friend, the big eye needle.
Yes. And they are sharp. So be very careful. And be careful with your cats around having threaded needles around the house.
Yes, yes. They will want to chew on them.
Yes. So here we go. I think it's pretty much hidden.
Yeah, that looks great.
And I should have cut the yellow thread. I'm going to cut that now. Let's get rid of that.
Yeah, there you go. That looks nice.
Oops.
Now you could, what Janice showed for the closure is the beaded Bollywood and then the little macrame closure. You could also just tie a knot if you felt the need to do that. But it has a nice.
Show how you do it. You want to show?
No, I'm just going to show this closure right here, so you can see Janice is coming down here with this section, and she did a little bit of a beaded section here. But then this section is for the button. She did a really nice clean, look at how nice that macrame looks, and notice how she snipped the threads so they come to a point, one going slanting left, one slanting right. And so that's the closure there. You could also, like we've done in the past, I think I did one on here where it just has a knot at the end. But this really looks clean.
Oh, thank you. And I then took a colored marker.
Oh, yeah.
And just colored. I'm looking for my big eye needle.
See all this right here? That really looks nice.
So let me just see if I can find another one.
And what you do is, this leather is pretty tight on there, but when you're measuring, you just want to make sure that you've got enough for that button to clear.
Yes.
So that there's no, what do I want to say? So there's no stress, especially on this end. Right?
I just dropped a needle.
Oh.
Okay. I have to find it. First thing I have to do.
When you get off the...
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get this big eye needle.
Okay. I'm going to put you back on. Hang on.
Okay. I'm going to put this up through here. Oh, I have to undo this for a second. Here we go. Now I don't have to go all the way up. I can just go like this. Take my chain nose pliers. And if you want to use some glue, this is where you would use it, right there. Pull it up. Cut it off. Then do your other one. And you are good to go. So I'm just going to do the other one.
And Janice, thread-wise, you're cutting off about 3 yards of thread?
At a time, yes.
About
2 to 3 yards. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 3 yards. The herringbone is the only one that is just relentless when it comes to soaking up thread, gobbling it up. So there we go. You really need a chain nose plier to do this. You don't want to try and do it with just your hand. It's just...
Yeah, it's too hard to grasp it.
And that's it. And then you would do the same thing for the button loop down here. It's just you start with some new macrame, do about a 1/2 inch of it, and then bring your threads up through it. And you're golden. You've made your 5-stitch.
Great. I'm going to come in and I got kind of a mess here.
All my little Barbie necklaces.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Let me get this. Let me get this. There we go. So we can see here. So the 5-stitch, you just need 1 spool of each color, Janice.
Oh, yeah. You've got more than enough thread. You're hardly going to use any thread. You hardly even know that it's missing.
Yeah. I'm going to put this on. And let's see. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wraps, I think this is. And see how when it's wrapped, it all kind of crosses over, right? You don't really need to worry about what lines up.
Nothing lines up.
Yeah, it looks really nice. Really, really nice. And so, folks,
I never lined anything up.
Right. I went ahead and I am making the project map into a PDF, so you'll see it up there right after this. I'm going to remove this. Let me remove that. There you are. Here I am. All right. Let me make sure that we've got everything here. Now, friends, you can find all of the things that Janice used in this project, all the materials. It's right now, if you're watching us live, it's the 30th of April, Wednesday, April 30th. It's on our homepage, but the project is called Favored 5. I'll have it linked again tomorrow in the newsletter, and I'll have the project map. There'll be a little link at the project map, but I'll put it in the newsletter tomorrow so you can download it directly from there. Janice, this has been an epic broadcast.
That's great.
As someone mentioned earlier, it was a masterclass in and of itself. It really was fantastic.
Oh.
So I think that the takeaway from this, Janice, is learn those 5 stitches, whatever your favorite 5 are, put them in. I'll put we can go in and put your measurements, but it's a good jumping off point to make your bracelet fit you, right?
Yeah, I think you figure how many how large is your wrist to have it fit comfortably, and then multiply it by like 5 or 4 or even 3. You don't have to do a 6 wrap bracelet for your first try. I mean, and nothing has to line up. So you don't have to worry about, oh,
Mhm.
it's not going to line up. Just, it's more interesting if it
Mhm.
doesn't line up.
Yeah, no, I agree. And one of the things that Kim Crawford said earlier in the broadcast in the comments was that she made one bracelet for each of the stitches and lined them up on her wrist that way. So that's
Oh, that's
definitely
interesting.
that's definitely. So I had to get my hair out of my way. It was making me crazy. So that she had 5 different bracelets, so she didn't have to bite
Yeah.
off the whole wrap bracelet at once, right? It's a great
Yeah.
way to do it.
I just want to shout out to Claudia, who's
Mm-hmm.
joining us for her first live. Um, you have a lot of courage, Claudia, for this to be your first live, because we did a lot today. But
Yeah.
thanks for
No,
joining
we've
us.
been Claudia dropped us a nice email. So thank you, Claudia. We were making sure that she could log on to her
Yeah.
account and everything. So it's great to see you here. I also saw a little further back, one of my sewing sisters, Lisa, was here back. Lisa, I don't know if you're still watching, but it was so fun spending the week with you last week. And Kathleen, you're reading my mind. You know, the Apple Watch components are the item of the week this week. It
Yeah.
would be a great one to do again, incorporate some of this 5-stitch into it.
Yes.
We'll have to do an Apple Watch is really fun. And there's some specific things around making an Apple Watch wrap that you kind of want to take into consideration. So I linked the broadcast, I think in Monday's newsletter. And I think it's also as a project on the homepage as well. So you can see that there.
Kate, I just want to say we never found the component for watches other than an Apple Watch. We looked, just didn't find it. So I'm sorry. We don't have it.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But while we've been sitting here, Janice, I have been playing around with the fresh monthly mix.
Oh.
And I've been working on my little thing for Friday. So we'll see what happens. I'm doing some kind of stitch that's all new to me as well. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But stay tuned to your newsletters tomorrow, friends. You'll hear the story about the movie and the mix. That's our monthly mix. And yeah, I learned so much. It's been so fun to see all 5 of those stitches. We'll add the links, as I said, to the project. And as we would love folks for you to, let me do this real quick. Going to cover you up for just a second, JP. If you make anything with our product or our projects, my friends, don't forget to tag us all over the web at beadshop.com. If you have any questions, shoot us an email over at info@beadshop.com. Join us over on our Facebook group, The Bead Table, our Instagram page over at beadshop.com. And of course, our Pinterest pages have a bunch of great tutorials and stuff over there that you can go and pin and repin and share out. We'd love that because all of your social shares, your likes, your engagement only helps other people find us and find this great content. So thanks, JP. I know that you did a lot of prep work and a lot of work for this project. So thank you so much. It was really fantastic.
Worth it. I think it was worth it.
I agree. I think everybody else agrees too. Right?
Oh, great.
Well, thank you. We'll see you back, JP, on the other side of the keyboard on Friday. And I will see you Friday for Free Tip Friday, everybody.
Right.
All right. Thanks so much,
all. Thank you.
Bye-bye.